But then let's go down the freeway or up the freeway. Let's go to L.A. and look at the Dodgers. I mean, again, they lost 5 people. They're loaded. I mean, I love the Dodgers. I mean, I'm not a huge Dodger fan, but when you look at them and I mean, just up and down their lineup, they're still so solid.
I think they'll win it.
They're projected at 94.5 wins. And again, as a Dodger fan, there's cautious optimism. That sounds great. There's a part of me that thinks they could absolutely win 94 to set 97 games.
Yeah.
They could really run away with the division. Then there's that other part of me that looks back and says, we used 15 starters last year.
Well,
I mean, starting pitchers last year. And that was out of necessity. I mean, there were a lot of guys in the DL. They used the DL like, I don't know what they had frequent flyer mileage or something going on there. Yeah. So, but this general manager, this front office group, is not about, let's get our top 3-4 guys and go with that. They're very happy to have 9 arms that I think that would be ideal for them, that they got 9 arms who filled up all the innings, starting innings for them. They'd be fine with that. It's a little new school for me. I'm not happy about that, but I'm just not sure,
so much
what's
is
going on.
Pitched by committee. I mean, the scary thing, again, with the Dodgers is, when you have back issues like, Kershaw had that,
right.
And I've had a couple of back surgeries, so I know about that part of it. But, that's a thing that, I mean, I even look at going to fantasy baseball again. There's a guy that personally, if he's available, he'd be my first round pick just because he or Chris Sale are the 2 guys I'd look at. But, you look at Ryu, another guy that's, been hurt. That's the only thing that I think can hamstring the Dodgers or injuries. Because if those guys are healthy, they're going to get you their 15, 17, 20 wins, and again they're deep. They're deep.
I guess it's good they have 8 major league starters. They got a couple of guys that they just sent back down that are going to get their innings in the minor leagues, and that's fine. But Kershaw, like you said, the back, Rich Hill with the blisters, and he's old. I mean, he's an old guy. As far as baseball players, and Maeda had some issues, and then I think there's still an inning limit on Urias. So where is he going? He's definitely a number 2 type of guy, starter. I mean, he's the future of that franchise. But how are they going to use him this year? And then you got Kazmir, who had the hip problem that just flared up again. So already I'm looking at 8 starters, but there's issues with all of them. Brandon McCarthy, I mean, he's got to find the strike zone, more consistently. And then Ryu, who pitched, just a few innings, a handful of innings last year.
It's kind of scary. I mean, again, for as good as they can be, I always look at them kind of like you looked at the Angels last year. I mean, when you go out there and you have all this optimism, but then you look at what could happen. I mean, you knew C.J. Wilson was never healthy, and then you looked at, Skaggs was never healthy, yet they were, guys like Roger Lodge were banking on those guys, and then, they weren't even there. So, and then, Richards went down, fairly early. So the Dodgers, that's just it. If they're healthy, they could just be lights out.
But and again, someone who's cautiously optimistic, if you're not a Dodger fan, if you were to look at the spring training statistics, you'd go, oh my God, Corey Seager's got 7 plate appearances this year. Right. He's still not playing. Adrian Gonzalez had 5 at bats before he going off to the WBC. Ethier has 9 at bats. And again, these are guys that are projected to be starters. Ethier's going to get the left fielding starting, but he's had 9 at bats.
Which I'm excited about. There's another. See, that was another guy that I was really disappointed that somebody like the Angels. I would have taken Ethier in a heartbeat over Maben. One is local. He's been, and fans love him. The guy's got pop. You give that guy 400, 500 bats, and I think he's gonna, he could do some amazing. So now the Dodgers got him. He's hopefully gonna be out there all the time. And
when he was younger, against lefties, he was serviceable. You could put him in the game. You could expect some home runs, and he was fine. Against righties, he would just rake, and he was terrific. And if there is a platoon situation, except now you've got who are the Dodgers going to keep in the outfield? You've got Tolles, another lefty, another lefty. Van Slyke, who I think this is it. He's either going to make it or he's going to get moved. He might be the platoon guy, but he was injured a lot last year.
Trace Thompson's coming back from injury.
And then Franklin Gutierrez, who, again, an older guy, but more at bats. I don't know who they're gonna, and I guess they're all insurance policies for whether or not Puig keeps his nose clean.
Well, I think too, they were really smart with Logan Forsythe.
Terrific.
That was a huge pickup, and you see that again. There's another guy that the Angels had a shot at, and then you have Chase Utley is their insurance guy. What a great veteran off the bench, and he stayed there because he wants to win a championship and go there. So like I said, they're smart.
He's tough as nails, and he's a winner. He knows how to win. He knows how to.
Yeah.
He's a total great clubhouse guy. And again, some of that doesn't work out in the analytics. But in my first article, when I was writing about Chase Utley, he doesn't need a lot of at bats to be good. He's very good against righties. Had great on base plus slugging against righties. He doesn't need to see a left-hander. He just doesn't need to. He couldn't hit him last year, so he doesn't need to see him.
He's got a great attitude too. He doesn't cry and moan about not playing.
Not at all.
He keeps himself ready, prepared. When he's called on, he's ready to go.
Right. Which is why I thought it was a great contract and a great pickup. And Corey Seager seems to really respond to him. And as far as preparing every day, for him to look over the next locker, in the clubhouse and see Chase Utley and how he prepares, it's the best thing that could be there for Corey.
And then
Seager.
you got Turner, who's just right there.
Yeah,
he got off to such a slow start last year. And then
because of the injury after the surgery, so he was very slow getting back.
And man, you think of what he did, for 3/4 of the rest of the season. Yeah. He was it. He was their guy. I mean, he was just the solid, constant guy in the lineup. Adrian Gonzalez. They're going to be fun to watch, and they'll be fun when they come into town to play the Angels, and Angels go up there. It's always good to see that rivalry play out. But
what about the job that Dave Roberts did last year for being a rookie manager, never done it before. He had a clubhouse that was, not always the easiest to handle. He seemed to take care of the egos. He seemed to
defer to the Dodger guy now. And it's funny because I'm still a Mattingly fan. I don't know where and you look at what Roberts did with what he had, and then you look at what Mattingly did with what he had.
Didn't have what
he didn't have the horses, and the Marlins were in contention.
They were right there in the playoffs.
And then they, deal with the tragedy at the end of the season with Fernandez. Yeah. That's amazing. But he's a great guy. The thing I love about him, I wish Mike Scioscia could just take an ounce of his enthusiasm and act, just show some emotion with your players. That's what, I love when you see guys like Bochy and you see, Madden and these guys that they just, Francona. Their players just love playing for them because they bring that to the field. They bring you watch Scioscia. The last year was my first year that I actually cut Scioscia some slack because I felt like they just set him up for failure with not doing anything, and I think he did a good job with all the stuff that he had to deal with. So he's a solid manager. I can't take that away from him, but I just like the fact I like the guys that come in there and their players see that they play for their manager.
Well, they feed off it too. They feed off it.
So. And Mattingly is a little more like Scioscia in his he's a little bit lower key guy, but it's working. It's working in where he is in Miami. It's working for him. And Roberts was the exact kind of guy who I was dubious when they first brought him in. I thought he was somebody who was going to be sort of a yes man to the analytics, that they were going to be bringing a lot of, say, play this guy and play that. And Mattingly wasn't really going to put up with that, which is why he was never going to be the right fit once the front office changed. And it was more along, innings limits and matchups and setting the defense. But Roberts was a type of guy who says, I want this opportunity. And he is a terrific motivator because that's the way he played. Yeah. Just lights out, going as fast as he
Very
could.
aggressive.
So, his hair's on fire.
Exactly.